Green light. Go, go, go.
Hello everybody, welcome to a Saturday stream. It's our first one of the day. We are here with XCL. They have 3 streams today. This is like a little double sprint race. Both the sprints are 15 minutes long. We have a nice tiny grid to go over our little tiny races. So I think we're expecting roughly 11 drivers, I think, for this qualifying session and race. So it's going to be a great opportunity for some people to get some big XCL rating increases. I think it's a low level grid, about for 1500 rating. So if someone can get a couple of double wins in both the races, I presume the ratings are adjusted for both races. So yeah, we should see a good race for a couple of people. We'll just have to keep an eye on the battles out there, and I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of screen time today, which is great if you like to watch back on the streams. First of all, good morning to everyone that's watching over in the US, because it's a morning race for you guys over there, and for anyone that's racing in the EU side of the group, then good afternoon. So we're just riding with Champ of Hull currently, as the first drivers are going around, but I will switch now to 919 because I think Gorilla is the first guy out of the pit box. So as is customary, he will now get the first lap on the stream. So we'll see how he gets on as he just comes around to start the final sector before his first qualifying lap. Whilst he does that, I'm just going to set up the stream chat just in case anyone's with me today. I don't know if we'll have many viewers with us, but if you are listening and racing, I know Lynch sometimes does that, but yeah, if you are, just pop in, say hello. Obviously don't say hello when you're racing, Lynch. As I said yesterday, I wouldn't recommend that, but yeah, if you want to come in for a chat, I'm here for the next approximately 45 minutes, so yeah, come in and say hello. There we go. Yeah, so I've got the chat set up. If you are listening currently, if you can just let me know whether the audio is coming through okay. It should be by now, but this is only, I think, my 3rd day of streaming, so I just need to make sure that I haven't made any mistakes. I don't want to get too comfortable too early with the stream. So yeah, we're just riding now with, like I said, Gorilla Radio 7, and he is just about to start the first flying lap of the day. Actually, I say that, I think there might be a couple more. No, I think 240 and 64, they've just come out of the pits, yeah. So Gorilla is the first person to be setting the flying lap. There was only about 4 or 5 times set in the practice session that goes on before, and I think Champ of Hull had the best time with a 2:08. Mr. Trickle, thank you for joining the stream. Make sure you're not getting too distracted at work, my friend. But he's saying it's sounding good, which is great. So Champ of Hull set a 2:08 in the initial practice. There was about 2 or 3 other times, like I said, but they were about 3, 5, and 7 seconds off the pace. So I don't know if we're going to have not only a small grid, but also a massive field spread. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. So at the minute, Champ of Hull might be the one to watch in qualifying, but like I said, we're just going to run with Gorilla now as he comes up to the hairpin before the nice long COTA straight. You'll hear me use, for anyone that is watching that potentially hasn't watched one of the streams before, we will use the abbreviation COTA for this race, and as you can probably see at the bottom of the screen, it stands for Circuit of the Americas. So that's where we are today. We're in the US, and should be, like I said, it's not a lot of drivers, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be entertaining. But I think today is just looking at the grid. We have one bronze silver rated driver in Bad Ben, and then the other 9 drivers are all rookies. So I think it's just a great opportunity here for some rookie drivers to get their XCL ratings up and just have a bit more of a calm race, because I know XCL have been running a lot of 30 and 40 car grid races recently, so to be in a race with only 10 cars, you've got a bit more time, a bit more space, and it's just a good opportunity for you to sort of ply your trade a bit better. So Gorilla's coming around now. He's got the last couple of corners. I don't know if he invalidated his lap anywhere around, so we have had a couple of anticlimactic first couple of laps, but let's see. As I say, that might I think he was trying his hardest to stay on the track, but that might have just defaulted the lap. We'll have a look though. As he crosses the line, I don't think that is Yeah, he hasn't set a time here, so I think we're going to be riding now with Drone Lander in the red and green Ferrari. He looks like he might be the first person to set a time then. We just need a benchmark time to work with today. Anyone that's driven COTA before knows that track limits here are absolutely awful, so it's, you know, there'll be a lot of invalidated laps, and hopefully we won't see. Okay, as Drone Lander comes through with a 2:13, so based off of Champ's time of 2:08 in qualifying, Drone's going to have to find a bit more pace if he wants to find himself up at the front. And as I say that, Spring Sphere drops in with a 2:09.735 to take the current pole. We'll ride now with Champ of Howell, as I mentioned. So he is just coming around into the second sector of the race. You know, he's just got out the twisty section, which is yeah, it's a very, you can lose about 2 or 3 seconds just in those like 4 or 5 corners there. They're a very, very difficult set of corners, and I really struggle with this track myself. Yeah, so as Mr. Trickle says, the COTA stands for Track Limit Party. Yeah, it's. I'll be surprised if with 9 rookies in the field, I'd be surprised if we don't at least see one drive-through penalty today. But then I say that they're only 15-minute races, so based on the times I'm seeing here, what's that going to be, about like a 7-8 lap race maximum? So, you know, you'd have to cut a corner on 50% of all your laps potentially to get that kind of penalty, or do it 4 times in 1 lap. You never know, but yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. But hopefully, yeah, with the sprint format of just 2 15-minute races, we shouldn't see too many penalties flying about, and I presume there is no pit stops here either. So this is just a flat-out, pure qualifying lap after lap race where you're just going to try and pump in your best 8 laps you can possibly do, and then see if you can end up on the podium at the end of it. So as we were talking there, Salient G has popped up with a lap time which is probably in the 2:14s. He is 5 seconds off of Spring Sphere. Yeah, Champ of Hal is coming around the last corner now, and like I said, he was in the 2:08s in practice. So let's see with his qualifying trim on what kind of time he can set as he's coming down the straight now. It's a nice, yeah, the line's quite far up the line, so you can sometimes see some overtakes. Looks like he's not going to set a time that lap. He has defaulted as well. So the next person I can see that is on a potential qualifying lap is the number 56 of Joe Knows. He is the only McLaren driver in the field today. So he looks like he's come around to set his first flying lap. So let's see how he gets on. Yeah, there's one thing you can't complain about today with 4 minutes left in qualifying is getting some space. With 10 cars on a track that's like a 2-minute 8 lap, that's a lot of space for you to find to get a good lap in. Yeah, Trickle is saying, just confirming there is no pit stops. This is just 2 flat-out 15-minute races. As Joe Knows goes across the line and he sets a 0.9 of a second off of, so that's about 2:10, a 2:10.6. Joe Knows has just set there, I'm guessing. Let's have a look and see who else is setting a time. Let's ride with Lynch for a moment. Lynch sometimes listens to the stream whilst qualifying, so I'm going to try not to distract him now, but he probably, if he is listening, will know that he is currently live on the screen, and we're going to have a look and see what his first representative lap time is, unless he is defaulted somewhere. The only problem is when you're riding with a driver, yeah, and Lynch goes and he sets what looks like to be, oh, that could even be a 2:20. No, I think it's just a 2:19.9. But yeah, Lynch has obviously made a mistake somewhere there, so he's going to go in the pits and then potentially, you know, come back out. Who else is looking out there at the minute? So Mark Music hasn't set a time yet, so we're going to ride with him now. He's coming around the last section. Oh, that's a nice looking red and black Ferrari. I do like the red rims on that one as well. So I don't know if he's on an out lap or whether he's about to set his first representative lap, but let's take a look. Nice one, Trickle. Yeah, I'm not going to swear though, Trickle. I'm going to try not to, unless there's a major incident. So yeah, you're the one with all the facts. I'll give you that. You're the fat king today. As Champ of Howell, there we go. Set to 2:08.6 to go top. And whilst that was happening, Mark Music has set what looks like a 2:10, and he has gone into 4th place. There's only 2 drivers left that haven't set a time. One of his Freebricks. Now, Freebricks is a pretty fast race, I think. You know, you wouldn't be surprised if you see him up in the top 5 in some races, so I wouldn't be shocked to see him setting a good time on the board. So I think we'll expect to see him up in the top 5, but as he's going around now, is he going to get a bit of slipstream off of the car ahead? That would be a bit of a stroke of luck. And then where is Bad Ben on the track? I'm just going to ride with Bad Ben for a second. He hasn't had a bit of a screen time yet. So he is the only bronze stroke silver driver. Now, as Trickle is the fact man today, can you tell me, Trickle, if Bad Ben is the bronze driver or is he a silver rated driver? And as I say that, he goes second place, 0.490 off of Champ of Hell. So Champ of Hell is still holding that pole position currently with 1 minute 40 to go. But yeah, I'm not sure. All I know is he's definitely bronze or silver. So Trickle, if you have that statistic, that would be fantastic. So the only man left, like I said, to set a time is Feebrix. At the minute we look like we've got about maybe 5 or 6 cars that could potentially get a podium today, so we are going to get at least some racing, I think, based on these qualifying times. We've got 1 minute 15 left of qualifying, so I think anyone that's in the pits now currently, they're not going to be able to set another time. So number 74 of Drone Lander is coming out, but it's to no avail because there's, as I said, Feebrix has just lost it, but he is going to get one more opportunity if that isn't, if he's defaulted his lap there, because this will be 57 seconds left, his last opportunity to set a time. Based on that, there's no time been set, so he's going to, let's hope he hasn't underfueled his car, whereas he's going to be starting from 10th place on the grid. Now Lynch has opted not to come back out, so he actually will be definitely 9th or 10th. And so yes, like I said, Salient, Springsphere and Champ of Hell have decided not to go out as well. So let's see, with 31 seconds to go, it looks like the number 919 car of Gorilla Radio, he is going to be what looks like the last driver to potentially be able to set a time. So he himself and Bad Ben, who where's Bad Ben on the track? So Bad Ben is currently, I'm going to ride with Bad Ben currently because it looks like he is going to be the first person to set a time of the last runners. And looking out there now, there's only 3 cars that can set a time. One of them is the 611 car of Feebrix, which I said, and then there's the 919 car of Gorilla, and then there's Bad Ben. So let's see how Bad Ben gets on. He's got 2 corners to go. Let's see if he's got enough pace in that car to get himself onto pole. Yeah, see, Trickle's just spitting facts all the time. I'll mention those facts in a second, Trickle. As Bad Ben, with the last lap of his qualifying, does go 208.3 and takes pole off of Champ of Hell. So next in line to potentially set a time, like I said, is the 611 car of Feebrix. Now this is his only opportunity to set a time. I'm just going to double check that he hasn't default. No, he hasn't. No, that's fine. So he is currently on a live lap. He can push Lynch down to the last spot on the race, which is the 10th place spot, although there is 2 sprint races today. And now, as far as I'm aware, the qualifying times that are set in this qualifying session will count as the grid for both of the sprint races. There will not be a second qualifying race. So what Bad Ben has done there is pip Champ of Hell, and he's given himself pole position for both of the sprint races today. So here we see Feebrix, well, I said at the minute, Feebrix could potentially steal it off of him. He's just coming around the last corner now, so what time can he set? Feebrix finds himself up to 3rd on the grid, and it looks like whilst that was happening, Gorilla Radio has opted to not qualify again. So yeah, so Bad Ben has nicked that pole position off of Champ of Hell, and he will have that pole now for both of the sprint races. Like I said, the sprint races, there is no pit stops, so what that means is you're just going to fuel your car for what appears, based on the lap times I'm seeing here, will be no more than an 8-lap race, but you want to put 9 laps of fuel in, obviously, to allow for the formation lap as well. So I think and I think the beauty of having 2 50-minute sprint races as well is that you also have the opportunity, if you have overfueled your car in the first race, you can tweak it slightly and maybe knock off a couple of litres, because in these sprint races every single litre of fuel counts, all those seconds count. But looking at the times here, with Bad Ben setting a 208.3, and then Champ of Hell only being 0.2 away, and then you've got Feebrix 0.8 away, and then you had Gorilla and Springsphere and Mark Music all within 2 seconds of the top. I think we are going to see a bit of racing today. So Bad Ben on pole isn't a shoe-in to be guaranteed victory today, but he has put himself in a good position, because if you want to be anywhere on COTA, you definitely want to be on the inside of that first corner so you can get around and get gone. As we see, Lynch said he's saying he's glad to be listening to the show again as a race. Yes, so I don't know if I could do that, because with only 10 drivers on here, Lynch, you are going to be getting some screen time today, even if you are in 10th place. But I think to myself, if I was listening to the stream and racing and I heard my name come up, I'd just be like, I'd be keeping one eye on the race screen, one eye on the stream. So I think from a vanity perspective, we'd be getting a bit distracted. But yeah, we just have just over 1 minute to go before the start of the formation lap. I suppose, actually, I think if Trickle would have known we were only going to have 10 drivers, we probably could have done with a short formation lap, but we'll just have to go with the flow. There was 11 RSVPs for this event, so there could potentially be a driver joining late or maybe just joining in with race 2. But yeah, we've got a nice 10-car grid. Looks like we've got a bit of a pacey grid out there as well. Like I said, I don't think Bad Ben, Champ, Febrix, Gorilla, Springsphere, Music, or anyone here can potentially take that win. But there's going to be a decent little battle for the top 3 places on the podium as well. And at the very least, like I said, I think it's just going to be a great opportunity to for some people to boost their XCL ratings today. I know Champ of Hal has had a bit of a... well, it's fair. I think Champ of Hal was a bit unlucky that he was caught up in a few crashes before the change of the rating system. And XCL have done a fantastic change to the rating system where not only does the person that caused the collision lose some of the XCL rating points, the person that was received... the recipient of the crash, they also now get points back. So sometimes, you might, if you look at, I'll use myself as an example. I was racing in the 40-car grid at Nürburgring, and I was, racing incident, but accidentally taken out of the race on about lap 3, and I actually ended up finishing because of so many cars on the grid. I ended up losing points. And I suppose with this new XCL rating system, I would have actually then have probably been given those points back at least to reset my rank back to its starting point of 1500. So yeah, I think there'll always be tweaks to this, but I think the unanimous, everyone seems to think that it was quite a good change. So we'll just see how that gets on. But whilst we're going around the sweeping S-bends now, I'll just go through the top 10 for everyone listening. So the front row consists of Bad Ben 80 in pole position, driving the only Lamborghini in the field. Champ of Hal 94 is second place, completing the front row. We have an all Ferrari second row with Febrix PT and Gorilla Radio 7. In 5th and 6th, we have an all Porsche third row with Springsphere 796, Mark Music 80, and then in 7th and 8th, we have Joe Knows A11 in the McLaren, and we have Salient G in the Audi, and then we have Lynch, who is currently 9th place in the Porsche. It looks like we've had a dashboard trickle. I don't mention that because I think someone has dashboarded here, so they've got time to come back in because I imagine there's still going to be another minute or so of the warm-up lap because it's quite a long circuit here. So let's hope they can get back in and get in the pits. But like I said, the beauty of the sprint races today are that even if you do miss the first race, you do have another opportunity to come back in and race in the second one. Trickle is saying that regardless of the grid size, there will always be a long formation lap. I suppose that makes it easy, stops everyone tweaking the servers. But I think I was heard Klorp say earlier, as we see, Drone Lander has made it back, but he is unfortunately going to start from the pits, so he's going to have a lot of work to do to catch up. But yeah, I think Klorp was saying that the minimum drivers that we accept for it to be a ranked race is 8, I believe. So we've just beaten the threshold here, so we will definitely have people updating their XCL ratings. I don't know if that means that the race still goes ahead if there's less than 8 drivers, but I think it just means that your XCL rating won't be affected if there is less than 8 drivers. So and we have how many corners left? So we have about 4 corners or so left. And like I said, we have Drone Lander, who has unfortunately dashboarded. What looks like he's dashboarded, and he is now going to start from the pits. But like I said, it's not the be-all and end-all because he will have a second opportunity in race 2 to actually start from the grid. So there's a couple of corners to go now, and then we'll get this first sprint race underway. So there we go, the pack's all creeping up now. Bad Ben will be looking to get a good start, but actually in the few races that I've streamed recently, it's normally been the car in position number 2 that's actually managed to capitalise on the early starts. So they're just lining up now. We have all 10 drivers, well, 9 drivers on the field, and then 1 starting in the pits. In a bigger race, that would have probably been a good thing, but unfortunately today he's going to have to do a bit of racing to catch up. So we're about to start the race now.
Green light,
And it's green light, go, go, go. So Bad Ben is, I said, in first place. He's holding the inside line. We'll see how Champ of Howell gets on as they come up to the first corner. I think this should be nice and clean. So we've only got 9 drivers out there on the track, so I'd like to think we can all get round in one piece. Yeah, so Bad Ben gets on the first corner by himself, and he gets out. And as I see Freebricks there, he just goes a little bit wide. So I'm just going to run with him slightly as he puts a bit of pressure on Champ of Howell. The first 3 cars seem to have got away cleanly. And then... yeah, I'm just waiting for the timing screens always go a bit crazy, but yeah, we've got Bad Ben still leading the race. Champ of Howell, we'll see if he can. I don't know which one's going to have more pull here, the Lamborghini or the Ferrari, but in a second, I mean, Champ of Howell is very, very close. I think he's just going to stay in behind, get a good run out of that hairpin, and then we might see a challenge for first place. So is he going to try and dive down the inside now? I think he might try this. Yeah, that's forced Bad Ben out wide. We're going to run with Freebricks as well, because this looks to be a 3-car drag race down to the really sharp. So it's more than 90 degrees. It's about 110 degree left-hander. So it's going to be a last of the late breakers down here. So at the minute, Bad Ben is pulling along both those Ferraris. Freebricks has just popped out, so we can see I presume, to get a better shot of the braking zone. But so far, Bad Ben has managed to avoid all collisions and avoid all attempts for an overtake from Champ of Howell and Freebricks behind. So the front 3 cars look like they're slowly running away with it. But I'm just, as is, like I said, it is tradition, I will run with Bad Ben for the first lap, so to see who the first lap leader is, and then we'll have a look around the field and see what else is going on. Joe Lander has now made it out of the pits, and I'm sure with all the battling going on ahead, he will start to creep that out, but he does currently have a 17-second deficit. Freebricks is taking a wider line on a lot of these corners, but one of the beauties of COTA is that there are many, many different lines that you can take in these GT3 cars. As we're about to approach the last corner now, and yeah, Bad Ben will take the first lap of this first sprint race. So we have, what else is going on around here? So Mark Music and Guerrilla Radio seem like they're still 4th and 5th. I think we might have lost, not lost Sena, but Sena might have dropped a few places there at the start. So Mark Music is going, well, Joe Nose is just trying to get down the inside here. So it looks like Joe Nose is going to make a move on Mark Music, and he moved himself up into P5. And whilst this is happening, Salient is, it's not Salient, sorry, Spring Sphere is just on the back of Joe Nose now. So there is a lot going on here, so I'm just trying to keep up with this. So there's a 3-car little battle going on here. So Joe Nose looks like, yeah, has passed Mark Music. And then Spring Sphere now is putting pressure on Mark Music here. So I think these 3 cars are going to be coming up to the hairpin shortly, and then there'll be another little battle going down to, as he just, Spring Sphere tries to get on the inside. He's got a better exit there, and he's going to go alongside Mark Music here. But they want to be careful not to race each other too much, because that is going to allow Joe Nose to slightly get away here. Yeah, so Spring Sphere is... he seems to be getting a lot better. Hitting the apex is a lot better, but I don't know if Mark Music is taking that wider line in order to try and get a better drive out the corners. But there is like a side-by-side drag race here, but Spring Sphere's just popped back into the slipstream for a second, and he's going to see if he can get past here. I would like to think he's now alongside. No, he's going to tuck it back in. So it may well be that Mark Music here is running a better downforce setup, because even in that slipstream, Spring Sphere did struggle to get past. So at the minute, it's still Bad Ben in first, Champ of Howell in second, Freebricks in third. Those 3 drivers, as I thought from the qualifying times as well, have started to eke out a really big gap on lap 2 over Guerrilla. He is now 3 seconds behind. So we've got 2 kind of battles going on now. So there's a battle for what is essentially the first 3 steps on the podium. And then we have Guerrilla, Joe Nose, Mark Music, Spring Sphere all in a battle for the top 5 places. So obviously 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th battling for those last 2 top 5 places. And then after that we have Salient, who is running a little bit of a race by himself here. He is 3 seconds off the back of Springsphere, and what he's at the minute trying to do is trying to get or stay ahead of Lynch and Drone Lander. Now in that last lap, Drone Lander has pulled back a second or so on Lynch, but based on the fact that we've already finished about 5 minutes of this race, just or 4.5 minutes this race, that second lap is a good pace, but it's not going to be enough to potentially Lynch, reel in Lynch before the end of this race. But Lynch is looking a bit racy. We'll see if he can chase down Salient in the Audi. He's currently 2 seconds back, but yeah, these three drivers are just falling off the back of the rest of the pack slightly. Let's see what's going on again at the front. So in the main front battle, Champ of Hal and Bad Ben have slightly broken away from Feebrix. That could have just been a mistake there, but at the minute it looks like the race of 3 could be becoming a race of 2. But I'm sure if Bad Ben and Champ of Hal start battling, all it will take is one little attempted or failed overtake, and then Feebrix will get straight back in that battle. Joe Knows has tucked it in behind Gorilla Radio here, and he potentially, if he can get a good slipstream here, might be able to make an overtake down the bottom. He is also pulling along Mark Music in 6th place, and Springsphere is just starting to fall off the back of this little battle as well. So as the pace starts to increase and everyone finds their groove, you will find that. Actually, I'm just going to quickly switch back over to the front battle, because for one moment there, Champ of Hal was 0.075 seconds. Oh, as he dives down the inside. Oh, that was almost... he has touched him. That is a bit of a collision there. So I don't know if Champ of Hal is going to slow down and let Bad Ben back past. It does appear to be that's what he's doing. But yeah, that is a definite collision, and I think he will get reported for that, I would imagine. That was live on stream. I think it was Champ of Hal was just a little bit too aggressive there, and he has knocked Bad Ben out of the first place position. I think he did try and slow down and let Bad Ben pass, but the problem is with these incidents is that sometimes, I think we watched it in Paul Ricard yesterday, if one of the cars spins out, your tyres get really, really hot, and as all you want to do is just put your foot back down and get back on with the race. And yeah, he's just lost that a bit there. But Joe Knows is looks like he's under pressure from Mark Music here. So I'm just going to ride with these two battles here. They do have Bad Ben behind him, and I think Bad Ben is broken late there, and this might be going from bad to worse for Bad Ben here. So what he has done there is he hasn't compensated for the braking times of cars that maybe are slightly slower than him, and he has just smashed straight into the back of Mark Music, and he has got some slight front end damage there. So, and also Mark Music has got some rear end damage. So unfortunately for Bad Ben, it has gone from bad to worse, and I think based on how close the times were, I don't think even if he could get near the front, I think that damage is probably going to knock about a few points of a second off of his lap time, so he is going to struggle now, I think, a little bit. But Springsphere is all over the back of him. Mark Music has opted to go into the pits here, so I'd imagine that was a bigger hit than it looked on the live screen. So let's go back and look at the front quickly. So at the minute we have Champ of Hal chasing down Feebrix. I don't know if there's going to be a penalty coming his way for the XCL ratings, but in the meantime, unless he doesn't get reported, he has going to have to keep racing. He did have the pace over Feebrix. Oh, he's dived down the... Oh, I don't know what's happened there. I don't know if he's lost control or he's hit the brakes too hard there. But from my screen, it just looked like he just drove straight into the wall. Was that a disconnect issue or a bit of lag, or has he just locked up the tyres slightly and then had to take avoiding action on Feebrix? But yeah, Champ of Hal has now got some what we class as severe front end damage with that wing hanging off. He's probably going to have to pit, as we see Bad Ben now going to pass him here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Champ of Hal go into the pits there. Yeah, who says that a 10-car grid won't display lots of action? We've had more action than some of the other races. It's been quite clean. Yeah, so this has now left Feebrix all out by himself, and he must be thinking, today is my lucky day, because everyone seems to be taking each other out, and I'm just going to take this win all by myself. So Gorilla Radio is now going to be taking the net to second place of this race, and he is now 6.1 seconds behind. We have an interesting battle now, like I said, because Gorilla Radio and Joe Knows don't necessarily have the outright pace of Bad Ben in 4th place, but what Bad Ben does have is some front end damage. So that might then, like I said, negate some of his top end speed. So this could be quite an interesting battle unfolding between Gorilla, Joe and Bad Ben, and even Springsphere. He is yeah, as I say, I just lost him on the cameras, but he is in that battle. He's just slightly back, 2 seconds behind. Yeah, so Champ of Hal is going to be in for repairs now. I think he's probably going to be in there for what will probably be about 2 minutes or so, based off, or maybe 2-3 minutes, based off of that crash. Salen is, yeah, I'm guessing he's just waiting for the next timing trigger here, but he is now in what looks like, with the Champ of Hal crashes. Yeah, he is in 6th place now, and then Drone Lander is just about to go over the timing screens, and he'll go into 7th. There we go. Yeah, so Drone Lander, whilst all that's been happening, has been clawing back that time, but he is now still 14 seconds off Assailant, so I think 7th place is probably all he's going to be hoping for. We also see Lynch in the pits as well, so I don't know if he has had a bit of an accident. Apologies, I have missed that, but Lynch, at the end of your race, or if you're in the pits now, just have a little type down and let me know what happened, just because I see you sat in the pits there as well. So we have 7 drivers racing on the lead lap with 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go. We have Feebrix out in front, 7.3 seconds ahead of Guerrilla Radio in second. Barring any silly mistakes or any drive-through penalties, this should be a nice, easy last 4 minutes for Feebrix. I don't think anyone's going to claw that time back, bar a silly mistake. And then, like I said, we have Guerrilla Radio in second, with Joe Nose currently trying to chase him down. He can smell that there is a second place available to him today. So can Gorilla hold him off? And we also have, like I said, Bad Ben hustling him as well. So this is a case of can Guerrilla Radio hold off for probably what will be 2 more laps, 3 tops. Actually, as Joe knows, I don't know if he took he's on the inside line here. You got to be careful, boys. This is some nice, clean racing. But Bad Ben has tucked it down on the inside of Joe Nose and has taken the 3rd place position at the minute. As this is all happening, Springsphere has gone from 2 seconds back to 1.1 seconds back. So yeah, we've got some, this is going to be a few good entertaining laps left for what will be 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th on the grid. These 4 cars are side by side. This is great racing by these guys. Okay, so Lynch is saying he got dashboarded. So unfortunately for Lynch, yeah, he is probably going to finish where he is now, unless he can get out of the pits quicker than Champ of Hal and Mark Music. But yeah, we have Lynch whilst you're sat in the pits. So fantastic race going on for what is 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, with all the cars within 1 or 2 seconds of each other. Guerrilla Radio is under what we class is some crazy pressure from Bad Ben, who is going to be hungry to get back up to 2nd place. He'll be angry that he didn't get the win here, but obviously the beauty, like I said, of these sprint races is he's going to have another shot at it. We're going to see Champ of Hal and Bad Ben back on the front row for the next race, and there's going to be some argy-bargy, I think, there whilst they settle some grudges potentially. But yeah, Guerrilla Radio, as it stands, is holding off the 3 cars behind. Joe Nose has had a good bit of slipstream here. Is he going to try and overtake down on the corner? I think he's thinking best of it, and he's going to tuck it in and stay in 4th place. But yeah, this is by no means over. Any one of these 4 drivers can get that final 2 steps on the podium, as Feebrix at the minute is now extended his gap to 9 seconds over Gorilla. So yeah, it's been a very easy day for Feebrix, in the sense, like I said, that the 2 cars in front of him have just both had accidents, and he has just managed to avoid it all, and now he is cruising to what will be her first sprint victory of the day. Yeah, Bad Ben is now 0.6 behind Guerrilla Radio. Joe Nose is 0.2 behind him. Salen is 25 seconds back off of this battle, and he's got a lead of 5 seconds over Drone Lander. So actually Drone Lander, as I say, that has had a crash, so that's unfortunate, because it looks like Salen had a crash and Drone Lander might have been able to get that an extra place back, but he has lost a bit of time to Salen there. So I think, actually he's got a big bit of damage there, so he might have to pit, but I think with 1 minute 42 seconds to go, I think he might just try and eke that out for the last lap of the race. So here we go, we're going to back with, whilst that was happening, Bad Ben has taken the 2nd place spot back off of Gorilla, and as this is happening, Joe Nose is all over the back of Gorilla as well. So could this go from bad to worse for Gorilla, because he was holding 2nd place for what was about sort of 2 or 3 laps, and he looked pretty good for that, but now Bad Ben has overtaken him, and it looks like Joe Nose is going to try and join in that overtaking queue and take that final spot from him. But yeah, again, whilst this is all happening, Springsphere, Joe Nose got a bit of wobble on there, and Springsphere's gone around the outside. Is he going to be able to take the outside line and get a better drive off the corner? Gorilla's going to be thinking, or thankful for this little battle now, because that is, I would say, just touched slightly But these little battles here, like I said, it is allowing Gorilla to get that little bit of a breakaway and yeah, keep that third place for now. But we're going to ride with Springsphere here because he is now right behind Joe Knows. Izzy's gone alongside him now. Can he make that overtake and get himself up to 4th place? This is what patience does for you. He's just been waiting and waiting and waiting, and this should be a nice overtake down. He hits the apex. Can he stay on the track? He can, and I think that means Springsphere, yeah, has moved up to 4th place. So yeah, he was just biding his time. He was patient, and he's managed to get that place. Let's just see if yeah, Joe's actually battling back now. So as I say that, oh no, he's got the inside line now. This is side by side. This is good racing, guys. Oh, as I say that, they've crashed. It was good racing, but it's unfortunate. I mean, to be fair to Springsphere there, the Porsche is a very, very hard car to handle, and I think he just ran out of mechanical grip there and he just slipped across the track, but he came off worse, even though the collision was potentially his fault. And as that happens, sorry, I must have missed that. I thought there was one more lap to go. But yeah, Freebricks has finished the race and taken the, yeah, so it's a 7-lap race. I thought it might have been 8. Yeah, and Bad Ben finishes 2nd. Gorilla in 3rd. Joe Knows will take that final, yeah, the 4th place spot, because I said Springsphere won't have an opportunity to battle back in 5th. Salient will take what looks like a lonely 6th place. And then I think we'll have Drone Lander finishing in 7th. Champ of Hell looks like he's going to take 8th place in this one, but we'll ride with Salient as he takes 6th place. That was actually a really fun, that was a fun race, guys. That was so much action. Thank you to Gorilla, Joe, Bad Ben, Springsphere, you know, Champ of Hell, Mark Music. There were so many different incidents there that we'll just ride with Drone Lander now as he looks like Mark Music's going to finish the race first. But yeah, there was a fantastic sort of 4 or 5 lap battle. It was like a swarm of bees just all flying around the track there. But what's really exciting about today is we get to do that all over again. Yeah, so Mark Music will take 9th place following that collision. I think he'll probably be reporting an incident. Drone Lander's going to take a nice 7th place, which he'll be happy with considering he dashboarded and had to start from the pit lane. And then we have Lynch, who is going to be the last man to cross the line in that lovely blue Porsche, sorry, and he's going to yeah, cross the line in 10th place. But unfortunately for Lynch, he did dashboard. But again, like Drone Lander, himself and Drone are going to have another opportunity in race 2, and I'm hoping for more action. That was a fantastic little sprint race, guys. So yeah, as it ends, Freebricks in 1st, Bad Ben in 2nd, Gorilla in 3rd. That is your podium for the sprint 1. Joe Knows and Springsphere round out the top 5. Salient in 6th, Drone Lander 7th, Champ of Hell 8th, Mark Music 9th, and Lynch in 10th. And like I said, there is no second qualifying today, which means that Bad Ben and Champ of Hell, the 2 people that crashed to sort of potentially stop Bad Ben from winning that race 1, they're going to go at it again in the race 2. I've forgotten exactly what the rest of the order is, but we will go through it again because we'll have, like I said, another 2-minute reset. And yeah, we'll go for it again. I'm just going to take a quick drinking break, so I'll be back in 30 seconds. And I am back. Sorry, after all that race calling, I just had to have a little swig of water. When I said drinks break, I wasn't necking a couple of Bud Lights. But yeah, Dick Trickle has just put a couple of mentions in the Twitch channel, and I will mention these now whilst we have an opportunity. So tonight, like I said, this is the first stream of 3 tonight. We have that's obviously the second sprint race now, and then we have well, I think it's XCL's first ever points-based championship. It is hosted by IXR. Well, I think it's hosted by us, but it's IXR's championship. It's a mini 4-race championship with round 1 tonight, starting at 7 p.m. British Standard Time. That is going to be, I think, a 28 car grid. And it's going to be hugely competitive. We're going to have some of the fastest names on IXR and XCL, I believe, in that one. So we should see some really good lap times, really good racing. And I'm excited for that one. I think myself and Trickle might be co-commentating that, but worst case scenario, I think Trickle is doing it by himself. And then at 11 p.m. British Standard Time, we have our second XCL event of the day, which is the North America race at Zandvoort. So I don't know if that just means that it's just North American drivers only. Trickle, you might have to clear that one up. But yeah, that is at 11 p.m. and there are still seats available for that. So if you are listening or in the channel at the minute, go ahead and sign yourself up. And I think that one is also being streamed by Trickle because 11 p.m. BST, I'll be in bed watching it probably on my phone like I did yesterday. So there's still some races to go today. So make sure you head over to the Dick Trickle Network for the races 2 and 3. And I think there's a lot of hype about the IXR Mini Championship. So at least if you aren't racing in it, come along, watch. And I think that'll be a lot of fun.
10 seconds.
We have 10 seconds to go before the start of the warm-up here. We have... Looks like there's a weird gap on the grid there. I don't know if that's just a glitch, but there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There is 10 cars up there, but they all seem to be lined up weirdly on the screen here. I don't know if that'll just fix itself when they all go in. And, do you know, obviously when it sorts itself out at the end. But, actually, it looks like Mark Music might have dashboarded and come back in. So I think that's what the issue was. So that gap at the front was where Mark Music was, and then I think he has dashboarded, come back into the race before the timer ran out, and then let's put him in 10th place, which is unfortunate for him. But I think he's got some pace to definitely be racy, and Lynch will have to look in his rearview mirror now as well as ahead of him. So to go back through the grid, it is the same grid minus that little dashboarding incident. As the qualifying and race 1. So we have a front row of Bad Ben and Champ of Hell. Like I said, they did have a collision in race 1. Champ of Hell took Bad Ben out, and then he ended up finishing second. But then, so Champ of Hell did come off worse in the end because I think a lap later he late braked on Feebrix and crashed into the wall. So yeah, he's going to be looking for a much better race 2. We have Feebrix and Gorilla in the All Ferrari second row. So that is a third and fourth. And then because of the Mark dashboarding, it looks like we now have a third row of Springsphere and Joe Knows in the Porsche and the McLaren. 7th and 8th is Drone, Lander and Salient in the Ferrari and Audi. And then, like I said, Lynch is now 9th with Mark Music in 10th with the all Porsche back row. So yeah, there's a few scores to be settled, shall I say, in race 2. Based on that podium in race 1. I think it's anybody's race here. I think on raw pace, Bad Ben, Champ of Hell and Feebrix do have about a second or so over the rest of the competition. So if they can all keep themselves clean, we might just be seeing a 3-way battle for that podium. But like in the first race, anything can happen, and I think we're going to see a bit more entertainment here. Cool, yeah. So Trickle is saying that I will be with him so at the IXR race at 7 p.m. you'll have I think it's only our second time together, but me and Trickle will both be co-hosting or co-commentating. He'll be broadcasting it on the Trickle Network, but we'll be co-commentating together in that race. So I'm excited for that one. We have a good partnership. We have different approaches to how we commentate, so it should be quite a bit of fun. I think it's an hour-long race as well, which means you get twice as much of our shenanigans. So it'll be interesting to see. We've just got a couple of corners to go now, so this is quite a long formation lap, and there isn't much more I can fill you in over in race 1. But there was, I said, a few different crashes here and there. Mark Music was an unfortunate casualty in the first race where there was just a bit of a late break from Ben, and he sort of crashed into the back of him, which forced Mark Music to go in for repairs. Champ of Hell had to go in for repairs because I think he must have taken avoiding action and just binned it into the barrier. And then Lynch was unfortunate to have a dashboard, so he was ended up being in the pits for a couple of laps. So yeah, there is I think based off of that we will see quite an interesting second race here. I think Bad Ben will really be trying to take that win. There's a big gap between the second and first driver here. I don't know if Champ's going to have to get a bit of a hurry up, or whether he's just trying to warm up his tyres for maybe an attack into turn 1. like I said, especially with 10 cars, and everyone was quite respectful in that first one. I think Bad Ben is in the right position here because he'll just take the inside line on the first corner, and then it's quite a long way around the outside because of how sharp that hairpin is, and I think, Champ will just tuck it in. Let's see what kind of start we can get here. So they're all coming down now. Everyone's lined up. No one's dashboarded. This is the first time we've had all 10 cars on the track at the start, so let's go. It's green light, go, go, go. Yeah, another good start from Bad Ben here. So I think he's just going to comfortably take that inside line. The first, hopefully they should all get round. Looks like that Joe Knows has tucked himself in the middle of 2 cars there. He's gone 3 wide on that first corner, and he might get up into 4th place. But looks like, yeah, it's as they were at the front. Bad Ben, Champ of How, Free Bricks, all 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Guerrilla Radio has lost 4th place to Joe Knows, who is now up into 4th. And when the timing screens all sort themselves out, we'll have a look at the rest of them there. Yeah, so Springsphere is up to, or was 6th anyway. Drone Lander 7th. Mark Music has taken 2 places at the start, past Salient and Lynch, and he's moved himself up to 8th place. But we're riding again here, so with Bad Ben on this lead lap. Last time out, Champ of How did have a rundown, but he was under a bit of pressure from Free Bricks. Free Bricks isn't putting so much pressure on Champ of How this time, so let's see if we can get a bit of drama, not a bit of drama, sorry, but just see if we can get a bit of an overtake down those 3 cars. Basically as they were last time on the first lap, but it's just a case of how aggressive you want to be. Now, Champ of How could have arguably have been a bit too aggressive on that first race, but I like aggression, so he's taken the outside line this time, forcing Bad Ben on the inside. He's going to get a better turn in and maybe be able to attack him into the next section here, but I think as it stands, it might be Bad Ben leading the first lap for the 2nd race in a row. Joe Knows still holds that 4th place position with Guerrilla Radio in 5th. And Springsphere is 6th, and Mark Music is the man on the move in this. Oh, as I say that, Champ of How, I don't know if that was a collision or a crash there, but Free Bricks has lost loads of positions there as he tucks back into what is 8th or 9th place. Yeah, so I don't know if Champ of How took avoiding action there or there was a collision. I can't see any damage on either of the cars, but that has put Free Bricks back down, right down the order into 8th place, and it's going to be a comfortable first lap lead for Bad Ben, who I think, based on how the first race went, will just want to now check out and just get on with this and get his first win of the day. Let's have a look at Free Bricks' car. Does he have damage there? I don't know if there was a bit of a crash. Yeah, so Joe Knows is now up to 3rd, Gorilla 4th, Springsphere. Yeah, there is a lot of... it looks like potentially Free Bricks there has crashed into the back of Champ of How, which would be the reason why we saw Champ of How exit the exit side stage, or whatever it is, exit stage side, I don't know what they're saying is there. But yeah, he has moved off to the edge of the screen, and it can only be based on the damage I can see on Free Bricks' car there that was probably just pushing Champ of How off the track. He is 1.5 seconds off of Bad Ben at the minute, so he is going to see if he can catch that one up. But at the minute, yeah, Joe Knows is in a comfortable 3rd place. Gorilla is 1 second behind. I think that battle might go on for the whole of the 50-minute race. We're 3 minutes down already. Springsphere is got Free Bricks right behind him here, so I'll run with this one here because that is it looks like he's going to dive down the inside here. Is he going to take that overtake there? And Springsphere will probably tuck back in. I don't know if he got a good drive off of that corner because he had to take slight avoiding action. So obviously he couldn't turn in until Free Bricks had completed that move. But the Porsche in a straight line still doesn't seem to have a lot of that top speed that the other cars do, and they seem to struggle a lot when it comes to the overtaking. I noticed that in Paul Ricard yesterday. They just don't seem to be getting... they don't seem to be doing too well on the old straights. But Mark Music seems to be in the pits again. I don't know if he has dashboarded. It looked like he dashboarded at the start there, and it might be the same problem again, because I don't think there was any damage on the car. But yeah, Lynch is currently 9th place here. He's 8.4 seconds off of Salient. So again, I don't know if that was maybe a crash between Lynch and Mark Music, because he is some way off the back of the pack here. But I'm sure if there's more battles going on, he will just keep plugging away. Lynch is a great driver with us at XCL, and I know he will give it his all till the end. Salient is currently holding 8th place behind Drone Lander, who is 2 seconds off of Springsphere. So we could see a little battle here between Salient and Drone Lander as the race goes on. yeah, you can see all these cars here. They've all got themselves a nice little gap. So it'll just be a case with just over 10 minutes to go. Who can start to put those quality laps in and start to pull up close behind someone else, capitalise on some slipstream down that long straight, and make a few overtakes. But at the minute, as you can see on the screen ahead of us, we have Joe Knows in third place, followed by Gorilla Radio, who is 0.9 behind. He's actually closed that gap by about 2.2, 0.3 of a second. So we might see him being one of the cars that are potentially going to try and push for an overtake. But what the problem is with Gorilla is he does have a faster driver in Feebrix behind him, and he's going to be looking in his rearview mirrors when he wants to be looking ahead of him, and that's sometimes, as I say that, Feebrix has got a fantastic exit out of that corner. Oh, they've bumped there. I don't know if Gorilla even noticed that he came out because Feebrix got such a good exit out of that corner. He just flew out of there, and I don't know if Gorilla even expected Feebrix to be there. But with that overtake, he has taken 4th place off of Gorilla. And whilst that was happening, Springsphere has now got up on the back of Gorilla, and he is going to see if he can make an overtake as well. But I don't know if, like I said, that Porsche's got that straight line speed, especially if there's a Ferrari pulling along another Ferrari. But whilst this is all happening, Joe Knows has just comfortably sat there in third place, and he is having a nice easy time so far today. Champ of Hell is now 1.4 seconds behind Bad Ben, so he is. Well, both of these drivers have missed out on a potential win in race 1, and I think they are both going to be racing all the way to the end today, as one of them is going to try and take their first victory of the day. Lynch has now fallen back to 16 seconds off the back of Salient, and I don't know if he's had another crash there or whether he just can't get into the groove in this second race, but he is pushing as hard as he can. But maybe sometimes that is the problem. I find when you're a bit further back on the grid, you just push a little bit too much, and you actually end up having slower times than you would be if you just sort of try to set into a groove there. Mark Music is back out the pits. I think that must have been a dashboarding issue, but he's back in the race in 10th place, but he is 3 laps down, so unless there's any other major incidents, I think that might end up being where he's going to finish today in 10th place. So Champ of Hal, as this is happening, has closed the gap to 0.6 of a second on Bad Ben here. So as they go around these sweeping S-bends, it's be interesting to see if he can make a move as they go down to the hairpin there. With Mark Music, he is about 3 or 4 corners ahead, but he's probably about 20 seconds ahead, so I don't think he's going to be a factor in this currently. And as I say this, Springsphere is also 0.3 of a second behind Gorilla Radio, so we might see 2 attempts at overtakes as we come down to this final hairpin. So we'll ride with Champ of Hell first, and we'll see if he can get a good run on the Lamborghini. I don't know which car has the higher top speed. I think it is, as we have the halfway warning of the race, so we're halfway through, guys. So I think Bad Ben is just sitting in the mirrors there. Champ of Hell is just sitting in Bad Ben's mirrors there, just basically saying, I'm here, just pay attention to your rearview mirror. What he's doing there by pulling out and showing that is just basically making Bad Ben look behind him when he should be looking at the braking zone of the race. Whilst this has all been happening, Feebrix has moved up to 3rd place. It looks like Joe Knows must have had a crash here because he is down now in 8th place, so I think we must have had a bit of a spin out there. I don't know if that was a crash. I'm sure if anyone's on the Discord channel, and they can mention in the live stream if there has been an incident there. Joe Knows is back down to 8th, which has put the top 3 back as it was. Well, actually, even with Gorilla in 4th, that is the top 4 as it started. Springsphere is now the closest car to an overtake here. In 5th place, he is really putting the pressure on Gorilla Radio. So Gorilla last race had a lot of pressure from behind him, and he did okay for the most part. So let's see how Spring can put pressure on him here. And we have, at the minute, it looks like, I just saw that there is an overtake for 1st place here. So Bad Ben has lost the position to Champ of Hell. You see the damage on the back of Champ of Hell's car. That was from an earlier incident where Feebrix has late braked himself and crashed into the back of him. So actually Bad Ben has completed this, Champ of Hell has completed the overtake on Bad Ben, and that is with slight rear damage as well. So I'll ride with this again anyway, because I think Bad Ben is going to try and take that position straight back. It'll be interesting to see, like I said, what the Lamborghini handles like in a slipstream, if it will even last to that corner. He's dived down the inside here. And again, another great exit from the car behind. He is going to try and dive down the inside here. Champafal is going to have to let him through, but I think he's going to get on the throttle early. He might have to back out a little bit there, but he's going to tuck into that slipstream. And are we going to see that is 2 overtakes in 1 lap, as you see Freebricks in the distance all by himself in 3rd place. But we're just going to stay with this battle now. So Bad Ben has taken the inside line here. He's gone super defensive. So Champafal has gone out for the better apex. He might get on the brakes, but he should be able to cut back in underneath. But yeah, Bad Ben has done a great bit of defensive driving there, and he has held that 1st place. But this is by no means over. With 4 minutes and 55 seconds to go, Champafal and Bad Ben are going to go at this all the way to the end. This is 2 great drivers, racing at the top of their game here. Springsphere is still putting the pressure on Gorilla Radio. He is 0.5. He's been about 0.5 for pretty much the last 2 or 3 laps, and Gorilla's just been nice and calm. He hasn't made any mistakes yet, and that's a commentator's curse. As I say that, he's gone out a little bit wide there, but what I found in race 1 as well is that Spring seems to have a really good setup on that car where he can really get that Porsche to those corners early. I don't know if that's the fastest way around this track, but his turn-in seems to be so much better than the cars around him. So I'm sure that will come in handy when he has to dive down in one of the corners soon. He goes out slightly wide there. And actually, that's another thing to mention. We didn't have any drive-through penalties in race 1, so everyone's been pretty good at staying on the track here. Right, so we have Drone Lander, who's currently in 6th place. He is 4.5 seconds off of the top 5, so he's going to keep racing away and see if he can sneak that top 5 finish if there is a mistake at the front. And then Joe Knows, who did have that earlier spin, has already made himself back past Salient up to 7th place, and he is going to start closing that gap down to Drone Lander. I'll try and keep an eye on that just to sort of see if he can close that that time down. Salient seems to be on his own at the minute in 8th place. He hasn't got a lot of pressure from Lynch behind him. Lynch is about 20 or so seconds 22 seconds back as we see him crossing the line now to start lap 5. And then Mark Music is in a complete race of his own. He is away from everybody there. So let's just go back up to the front bow. So Champafal is still tucked in behind Bad Ben. He did make an overtake at some point, and he did manage to hold that lead for about 4 or 5 corners, and then Bad Ben took that straight back. So like I said, with 2 minutes 50 to go, I think that means we're probably going to get 2 more laps for this race. Yes, this is 5 laps so far. We had a 7-lap race next time, so Champafal has got 2 and just over 2 laps to go in order to make that overtake. So I'm sure he's going to be pushing and using every bit of the track he can to get that position. Freebricks is in a race of his own in 3rd. He is 9 seconds behind Champafal, but he has a 6-second lead over Gorilla, who has, I don't know if Spring has made a mistake here, so because Gorilla has got a 3-second lead over Spring, and it looks like maybe Spring has had a mistake somewhere there. Joe Knows, whilst this has all been happening, has taken about half of the time. The gap behind Drone Lander, he was about 4 something seconds behind. He's now 2.6. So we might, with 2 laps to go, see Joe potentially make an overtake on Drone Lander on the last lap of the race. So Drone, if you are listening, watch out, because Joe Knows is on his way and he means business. Champafal is still tucked in behind Bad Ben. They're going around this really twisty, windy section for what will be the second to last time. If he's going to make a move, he has to do it soon. He's got this lap and then the next lap, and I think that will be the race over. So let's just see how this one unfolds. Oh, he's close now. It seems to be the person behind the car in front there always seems to have a better run away, better run out that corner, but he is taking the inside line here. Oh, that's close, but so I don't know if taking that really sharp apex is the quickest way, because the problem is you can't sweep all the way out to get your traction down early, because you have to allow for the car on the right hand side to be there. But Bad Ben hasn't decided to take this defensive, so yeah, he's just held the right line. Bad Ben is right up behind him here. He's almost touching that rear diffuser, he's really hustling Ben here, but I think he is calm, he's collected. He got a second place in the first race, and I think he just wants to go one better and win this race today. Yeah, 0.2 behind. This is going all the way. And as I say that, Joe Knows has got past Drone Lander, who actually is now under pressure from Salient. So I think what's happened here is Drone Lander's probably made a mistake, because he has lost a lot of time to Drone Lander here. So I think, also to Salient and to Joe Knows. So I think there must have been a crash.
Right, man. Leader is on the final lap. Give it all
And
you
as we
can.
say this, we'll go back to here. So this is the final lap of the race. He's only got a couple of opportunities, I think, to make this overtake. Now, I don't know if he's just going to accept second place today, but I don't think so. Champ of Hal is an aggressive driver. I think he will at least try and have a sniff somewhere here. Bad Ben knows he's just got one more lap of this circuit to go, and that'll be another, it'll be a great race, and there'll be a double podium, and one of those podiums will be a win. So I think he's just really going to be pushing hard now. Champ of Hal doesn't seem to be too close, but there is normally, I said in this about 2 corners time, there's like the car behind seems to get a really good exit. I don't know if that's just a Ferrari, but he's closed that gap a little bit. It seems to be Champ he's got better around that first section than Ben is, but then I think Ben just has enough around that final section to make it stick. So here we go then, guys. We're going to go on the hairpin for the last time. Champ of Hal gets a good run out there, but so does Bad Ben, and he's still 0.5 behind. Based on the speed that these guys go down, and I don't think he's going to be close enough to make that move, because you want to be alongside him by this point. But is he going to try some sort of crazy last-minute late braking manoeuvre here? It doesn't look like it, so I think he is almost consigned himself to second place, and that's a bit more sensible driving, I'd say, because sometimes you have to just accept the fact that you're not close enough to make that move, and there are some drivers that would just chuck it down the inside and hope for the best, but Champ in that instance has decided not to. And with about 4 corners to go, it looks like Bad Ben is going to take his first win of the day, and I don't know if he's won with us before. He must have at some point, I imagine, but I don't know. But 2 corners to go, 2 right-handers. Just need to keep it on the track, and we'll have our second win of the day. So Feebrix took the first win after Champ of Hal and Bad Ben had a collision. They haven't had that collision today, and Bad Ben takes the win. You can see he's happy with that one. Champ of Hal gets a 30-second penalty. Is that for... Oh dear, I don't know how that might put Gorilla Radio up to 3rd place, I think, because Feebrix finished 10 seconds behind. I think Gorilla was actually 11 seconds behind, so it actually might end up being that Champ of Hal is actually going to finish outside of the podium here. So that is really going for him. I think he must have got a last final track limit on the last corner, and I think Springsphere, who finished 7 seconds back. So that is, I think, quick maths, I don't know, but that might just be that Springsphere will take 4th, Gorilla will take 3rd, and Feebrix will take 2nd. That is so unfortunate for Champ of Hal on that last, looks like it literally was the last corner. He must have got the drive-through penalty. Obviously, then he didn't take the penalty because it was the last lap, and he wouldn't have known about it until the last corner, and it's given him a 30-second penalty. I think it resets once everyone's finished the race. What a fun little sprint we've had today. So I think we're just waiting for Lynch to cross the line, and then Mark Music. So Lynch is going to take 9th place here. And then, Mark Music, who looks like he had dashboarding issue, will take 10th. But so your winner today is Bad Ben. Feebrix will take the net second once that penalty's been applied. Gorilla Radio will take 3rd. And I think it's just a case of will Springsphere take 4th, or will Champ of Hal take 4th. But I think mathematically it might just be Springsphere taking it. Joe Knows finished in 6th. Salient in 6th. Salient in 7th. Lynch 8th. It says Mark Music 9th, but I think someone's quit there that I didn't see on the timing screens there. Let's look at Mark. I think did Mark run out of fuel there? Yeah, it looks like Mark's gone back in the pits, and that hasn't triggered the 30-second penalty there. But I think it will be that Champ will finish 5th, I believe. But yeah, thank you guys. So that's it. So we had our 2 little 50-minute sprints. We had some great entertainment, some great overtaking, and thank you all for watching. Just one quick reminder, like I said, we do have the IXR Mini Championship starting at 7 p.m. BST today, followed by a race at Zandvoort at 11 p.m. BST. So please come back. Both of those races will be hosted on the Dick Trickle Racing Network, and I think you'll see some co-commentary in the IXR race, and then Dick will be taking the race on at 11 p.m. So thank you all again. That was a really, really fun, entertaining race, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye for now.